But we could be alone between city lights. We don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in no secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in no secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
What's going on, you guys? Happy Monday night. And here I go into a tree. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Welcome to the live stream. It is Monday. It is 8 p.m. And let's get this camera sorted out. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Monday. It's 8 p.m. It's time for the Q&A live stream. Oh, I'm so excited to have you guys here. Was that a live rip? I mean, it wasn't. I wasn't literally flying it just this minute. It's dark. It's nighttime. What would it mean if it was a live rip? Oh man. I feel like this might be the last normal night we have for a long time. That's all I'm going to say. How's that 4-inch quad comparison video coming along, says Joshua. People keep sending me more quads. So I have the review of the GetRC Baby Crocodile ready to go. It's actually already uploaded. I just don't have a thumbnail shot for it yet, and I got super busy today. So GetRC Baby Crocodile done. Immersion iFlight Chimera done. Flywheel Explorer done. I have the Shocker from Catalyst Machine Works coming, which is super interesting because it's using, I think, 2004 motors instead of 1404 motors. And I have the Diatone, which I was like, I can't leave the Diatone out. So I actually am going to be holding off releasing or recording the conclusion of the which is best because I just feel like those two deserve to be included. I gotta cut it off. I got some people keep reaching out to me and they're like, "Well, do you want to try my?" Because everybody's making these 4-inch quads now, and I'm like, I gotta cut it off sometime. But I feel like I really want to make sure that the diatone and the catalyst are in there. So hopefully you could watch the reviews and decide for yourself. But anyway, yeah. Is this your first live stream? Is this the first time you've seen me? Hang on, doesn't look good. Should we put this here? Does that look good? Is that a good prop? Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay. If this is your first live stream, welcome. Here's what's going on. I will be taking your questions right here. Taking your questions right here in the chat. Hello, UAV Tech. Thank you for coming out. Mark Spatz. I watched Mark Spatz's video about thrust linear today. Good to see you here, my friend. I'll be taking your questions here in the chat. Oh my goodness, wait a minute. I gotta get where I'm in the wrong channel here. Live stream chat. These beautiful people over here are my patrons in the Discord. This is my Discord server. If you want to join these lovely people over here, little as $2 a month. Do I earn $2 a month from you? Well, if you feel like I did, then you can join in the Discord. I will be taking questions from them as well. And right here, this is the super chats, and you can get your question called out by hitting the $sign right here and get a super chat like this one from Chris Cremo, which I am not going to answer at this exact moment, but I will get to it. I will get to it. I will drink your milkshake. Something about the delivery of that line. I answer your super chats. You hit the $sign. You leave a super chat, which comes up in my window. I move my mouse over the screen, and I answer your super chats. Anybody? There will be blood. In another lifetime, I was an impressionist. Oh man, Dakooch, if you're a patron but you can't view the chat in Discord, go to the hashtag. Look, Dakooch, just for you, my friend. If you're a patron but you can't view the chat in Discord, you gotta go to the patrons-welcome channel. There's a pinned message right here about what to do. Gotcha. That's what you got to do. You could still do it by the end of the live stream. No one? No one is like, wow, that was a surprisingly good impression. Wow, I didn't know JB could do impressions like that. No one? Live stream's over. It's fired. Now, normally at this time in the live stream, I would do the news. I will not be doing the news because I will be doing the news tomorrow. So I am moving the... People say they love the news at the beginning of the live streams, but I don't like to do the news twice. Once on Sunday, once on Saturday. I feel like that's redundant. So, and it might be a waste of your time. Oh, thank you, Cyclimbo! Best ever. The news will be tomorrow. We're doing the news. Me and It's Blunty are going to be doing the news because I just feel like I work better sometimes with somebody to work off of. And Blunty's a smart guy. I really enjoyed doing the new product roundup with him last month. Probably doing it again this month. And so tomorrow, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 hours before now, tomorrow, me and Blunty are going to do FPV news. We'll be talking about Sharkbite. We'll be talking about Tracer, and basically tune in. It'll be a live stream. You'll still be able to chat and but we'll just break it out into its own thing. Tomorrow night's free, right? Nothing's going on tomorrow, right? Because I was talking to Blunty and I was like, well, what night do you want to do it? And what night should we do it? And I was like, I don't know. I live stream Sunday, Monday. Let's just do it Tuesday. I was like, okay, Tuesday. This Tuesday. Oh, right. Tomorrow's the election. Well, if you're not in the U.S., you probably don't care. Well, I'm not moving it. I'm not moving it. So, we're gonna do it. You can watch us do the news while you watch the election results come in. You can watch us do the news while you pretend the election doesn't exist. You can watch it on replay later. It's up to you, but it will be tomorrow at 6 p.m. What is this? What is this? Oh, shut up. Oh, you got me. All right. Did you see the new video leaking the new DJI digital system? Plain talk rickrolled me, but it didn't rickroll me on the live stream. Anyway, but hang on. I see that I can mention the fact that the election exists and is happening. You are not allowed to talk politics in the chat. That is not why we come here. We're not talking politics. It will just descend into madness. Anybody who talks politics gets timeout by a mod. Mods, it's official. I think only UAV Tech is a mod right now. Anybody who talks politics in the chat is getting a timeout, and if you keep it up, you're gonna get kicked. So, I'm gonna now start timing out people. 507, jump on it. Jump on it. Time out. Every single person, time out. If you're talking politics, this is not where this is going to go. I mention the existence of an election. That is not carte blanche for you to start promoting whoever it is you think you're going to vote for. This is just not the point. It's just not what we're here for. So, timeouts. If you keep it up after getting timed out, I'm just going to ban you. I understand the impulse. Let's talk about something else. Who got their quad box? Who got their quad box? Anybody get your quad box yet? If you got your quad box, you may have seen a link to this website in your quad box. What is this? Well, that's a valid question. You guys remember that post from my Instagram where I was holding this? And Ghost Branch was like, what is this? Well, the answer is coming. By the way, if you like this photography, this is done by Scarecrow FPV. James Pellegrini is his name. And I can't tell you more than is on this website. But Terrence Howard, the Terrence Howard, it's more than just a weird quadcopter frame. I can't tell you that. Terrence Howard is fascinated with sacred geometry, and well, you can check out some of his websites and some of the info on the website if you want to know more about it. He has an idea for a drone that flies differently than drones currently fly, and he is going to hold a contest to encourage people to design a flight controller, and there's going to be prizes and everything. And he's going to come on. I still kind of don't want to. I kind of don't want to say this because I kind of like, on some level, feel like it's not going to happen. But he actually wants to come on my channel and talk about the contest and talk about his ideas. So that's kind of cool. On the one hand, like, some of the ideas he's got, I'm like, I'm not sure I quite get this. But on the other hand, what he wants to do with flight controllers and multi-rotors and stuff it's like pretty interesting. And like when Terrence Howard says, hey, can I come on your live stream? You're like, yes, I would love, yes, indeed. So that is going to happen. We're still pinning down details. I'll let you know when I have details. Fuse FPV, I don't have any updates about the Sharkbite install. I mean, the install, I don't have any updates at this point. I do have it in the frame, but it's not a great frame to put it in because it doesn't have 20 millimeter mounting holes. So, Plain Talk, you did it. You rickrolled me. I saw your message. Now you're leaving the message again and again and again. It worked. You rickrolled me. Stop leaving the message. But installing the Sharkbite, I don't have any more information about installing the Sharkbite. Let's talk. What else should we talk about? Hang on 1 second. What am I drinking? Dialer wants to know what I'm drinking. This is iced tea and lemonade. It's known as an Arnold Palmer, after the golfer Arnold Palmer. It's hard to say those words. Arnold Palmer. He used to apparently drink this, and it's got a little bourbon in it. So, Failsafe FPV wants to know, how has the Fat Shark Attitude V6 been going for you? The Fat Shark Attitude V6 is okay. I mean, it's an LCOS screen instead of an OLED screen, so as always, it'll depend what price point they hit. But I gotta say, let's not talk about the Attitude V6. Let's talk about this, because this is the Skyo 4X, and it is to an Arnold Palmer. It's just an Arnold Palmer with bourbon in it, Kyle K. The Skyo 4X is exactly the same as the Eachine EV300O, except it has like a 45-degree field of view and whatever the same resolution as the HDO2. And I said that in my review of the Eachine, but I didn't know for sure whether it was true. I was just assumed. Well, I can tell you it is. That is a freaking good goggle for $500. It is like just goggle for goggle. That is arguably the best analog. Well, Orca. Oh, but Orca comes in. I mean, Orca is going to be like $650 for the goggle plus $150 for the rapid fire. Orca just comes in so much more expensive. Okay, let's just talk about the HDO2 versus that Skyzone Skyo 4X. Just between those two goggles at the $500 price point, the Skyo 4 wins. It has a so much better interface in terms of just actually having an interface with menus and stuff. The image quality is fantastic. Even the rapid mix receiver is very good. Is it as good as rapid fire? It's so close. It's close enough that the $500 for the Skyzone versus $500 for the HDO2 plus $150 for the rapid fire, I would arguably take the Skyzone. It's really good. Stinger Swarm is, oh my God, Mr. Stinger Swarm is in the chat. DJI for life, says Stingy. Stingy's been a DJI. No, I take that back. Stingy hated DJI at the very, very beginning. Stingy complained about latency, but he came around real quick. Everybody comes around eventually. Everybody comes around eventually. There's two types of people in the world. Two. There's people who like DJI and people who haven't tried it yet. There's three types. There's three types of people in the world. People who like DJI, people who haven't tried it yet, and people who can't afford it and are mad about it. How am I liking the Sharkbite? Stingy says. Sharkbite is. I wouldn't have said this 6 months or a year ago when Bite Frost came out, but I will say it today. Sharkbite is definitively better than analog. If DJI didn't exist, I would be seriously thinking about moving all my stuff over to Sharkbite from analog. And for people who look at the Sharkbite image and say, and by the way, my Sharkbite review is up on my channel. If you somehow managed to miss it, then you must not be subscribed. But the image quality of Sharkbite is not as good as DJI. And when you first see it, you kind of go, it's not that much better. But when you actually go back and fly analog, the thing is that Sharkbite pure resolution is not that much better. It is better. It's not like knock your socks off better like when you see DJI, but the stability of the image is so good. You don't have rolling screen, black and white, smearing colors. It is a stable image. Stingy, I bet they would send you one. How does the Sharkbite fit on the Skyo 4X? So I'm not going to take the Sharkbite off the Attitude just to show you, but I did test it. Oh, you know what? Hang on one second. Actually, hang on. Whoa, where is it? Where is it? I have... Well, shit. Is it in here? Yes! I actually have the first one they sent me a little while back. So it fits pretty good on the Skyo 4X. See, so you can see it fits really nicely on there. You could stick that on there with like mounting tape if you wanted. You could 3D print some kind of a bracket. On the SkyZone, it fits really nice. On the Orca, not so much. The Orca, you're going to need some kind of a 3D printed shim. So I would say Sharkbite, Fat Shark has achieved something in that Sharkbite is definitively better than analog. It has better resolution and it has equivalent or better range, especially because range is defined by usable image. And with analog, when you get at the edge of range, it's like all just, you have like, you're kind of seeing like vague shadows, which maybe you can fly through. But with Sharkbite, you have more usable image at the edge, I think. It's still not as good as DJI. And that's the killer. That's the killer. So if you were starting from scratch with Sharkbite, let's say you buy a $300 goggle, like I don't know, SkyZone Skyo 2X. Let's say you buy a $300 goggle, you pay $250, now you're at $450, $550, and you have, now you're in. That's the same price as the DJI goggles. Oops. Now granted, you have one VTX and camera. How much is the VTX and camera? The VTX, they said the 500 milliwatt VTX was going to be like $90, and the camera is going to be another like 40. I don't know. No, we don't know, but at least 40, 50 bucks, I would think. Like the analog cameras are 25, 30, 40 bucks. So I'm not sure that the price difference compared to DJI is enough. It's a little cheaper than DJI, but if you're paying $90, $140, let's say you're paying $140 for a Sharkbite VTX and a camera. I mean, a Vista's only $160. An Air unit's only $180. It's cheaper, but the DJI is way better. So it's tough. It's tough. But that HDMI out's pretty hot. Stingy wants to know, well, do you want to do a legit Tracer versus Ghost test this weekend? Yes. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. I'm going to be down in Atlanta this weekend. We're having a fly day for the movie, the Flow State documentary. Do you know about this? Flow State, the drone documentary. I promoted it. No, I'm not going to show you the whole trailer. This guy named James Christensen is making a documentary about FPV, and he's got a trailer up. And if you haven't seen it, you definitely put that up in another window. So they did a fly day in Orlando with some of the Rotorite guys a little while back, and he got some footage there. And there's another fly day this weekend in Atlanta. No, you're not invited. If you haven't already been invited, shut up. Sorry. There's another fly day this weekend. And they're going to be recording, and so I'm going to be down there. Stingy's going to be there. And yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that with you, Stingy. Bring some Crossfire. We'll bring some Tracer. We'll do some testing. Dauntless, I agree the image looked really soft, blurry for the Sharkbite. That's just what it looked like, though, dude. Like, that's not the DVR ruining it or anything. That's just what it looked like, man. I don't know. Just what it looks like. Anyway, I'm psyched. I'm psyched. I'm always happy to go fly in Atlanta. I don't know if it's just... Atlanta has just so many great spots. Yeah. I don't know, by the way. You might be invited. I don't know. I'm not setting it up. That's my thing. So, like, I wanted to mention, oh, hey, this is happening. But I don't want a whole bunch of people to show up and go, yeah, Bardwell said we could come. I don't even know where we're going, so I couldn't even invite you. I just am always nervous if I, like, let a fly day slip. Then I kind of feel like a jerk. Because, like, oh, sure, anybody can come. What are you talking about? Don't be an elitist. Like, I don't know. I'm not setting it up. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to, like, I don't know the deal. I'm just glad to be invited. So. Ciati thinks my Sharkbite footage wasn't as crisp as Man Cave's. Could my lens be out of focus? I mean, I can't rule that out. We could check my lens and see if it was in focus or out of focus. For what it's worth, I just took the camera out and I plugged it in. So if it was out of focus, it came that way. But I mean, especially when you're flying a new system, right? You're like, is it out of focus because it's out of focus, or is it just how it is? We could definitely take a closer look. What's a Man Cave? Let's see. Oh no, I don't want that over there. I want this over here. Oops, something went wrong. Where's Man Cave's footage? Oh no, don't go away from the... Oh man, I can't see Man Cave's footage. Mad Prop says Pavel Spakowski fail-safed on Ghost in his latest video. Interesting. I said... I can't see the link, though, Ciati. Whenever I click the link, it... Let me try copy-pasting the link. Let me try copy-pasting. No, it's a... Ciati, you gave me the wrong link. You're giving me a studio link. It's a studio link, and I can't get there because I don't own the channel. The link is wrong, dude. Okay, let's try the link again. Now, you guys... let's see here. No, Ciati, it keeps trying to go to studio.youtube.com. I don't know why. Let me try copy-pasting it. Let me try copy-pasting it. I don't know what's going on, dude. Are you giving me your link or his link? No. What the F? Something isn't right. Copy. There we go. Oh, I got it. I got it. Sharkbite and a 65mm whoop. Alright, no copy strikes. Where's his footage, though? I mean, does that look that much different than mine? I wouldn't say that's like so crisp. Oh wait, this is analog. Is this analog? Okay, I'm sorry, this is analog. That doesn't look that good. This isn't Sharkbite. Hang on. That's not how Sharkbite breaks up, and he has OSD. Where's Sharkbite? There's Sharkbite. Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's comparable to what I had. Let's look at mine in a still frame. Hang on. So we'll look at a still frame so the YouTube compression doesn't screw it up. Yeah, we should look at the actual. That's a recompressed. Let's look at the actual DVR. This is the actual file. So, I mean, I don't know. You tell me that's out of focus. If it's out of focus, then some part of this is going to be in focus and some part's going to be out. I don't think that looks out of focus to me, though. I don't know. I mean, I do agree it could be sharper. I do agree it could be sharper. This is not recompressed, Dauntless, for what it's worth. What you're looking at right now is a still frame from the original DVR, and since it's a still frame, I do agree mine has a haze to it. That's because of the lighting, though. That is reflections inside the lens of some kind. Like when I go to here, we get this little whatever this is off the sun and lens flare. So that haze is because I was in the sun and he was indoors. But, and again, I'm giving you guys still frames so that the YouTube compression can keep up. I mean, that to me doesn't look like an out of focus image. I agree it could be sharper, but I think that's just a compression thing. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. Anyway. Let's get some super chats out of the way. We got super chats. We're a half hour in and I haven't even touched super chats. Thank you guys for your patience. Chris Cameo, thank you for a $5 super chat. Can you conformal coat the membrane buttons on a Crossfire receiver? No. Do not conformal coat buttons. The button has to make electrical contact between two things. If you conformal coat the button won't work anymore. Do not conformal coat buttons of any kind. Do I conformal coat? No, it's a hassle. It is not a waste of time. Especially if you fly in wet places or if it's winter and you have snow on the ground, conformal coating can absolutely save your ESC or save your quad, but I'm just can't be bothered. Psych Limbo, thanks for $2 and complimenting my impression. Johnny DRC, thank you for $5. What's the amp draw of the Newbie Drone 2306.5 1850 kV on 6S? It's impossible to answer that question, Johnny D. The amp draw of a motor depends on the kV of the motor, the battery voltage, which you've given me. It depends on the prop. A larger prop and a higher pitch prop will draw more amps, and it depends on the weight of the quad. A heavier quad will draw more amps, a lighter quad will draw fewer amps. The amp draw of that motor could be as little as 20 or 30 amps. It could be as much as 200 amps. It just depends on various things. So I'm sorry, I can't really answer that. Six Siege, thank you for 99 cents and for $4.99. Aaron Newman, thank you for $10 super chat. Why does my gyro keep disappearing at power on? Two separate quads with the same iFlight SuxX F7 stack. If I plug in a Betaflight with battery connected, save and reboot, it works okay. Aaron, if you have a missing gyro, like Betaflight says no gyro, there's several possibilities. But like if you flash the wrong firmware, you can get no gyro. But if it kind of comes and it goes, then it's a hardware issue. It's just a hardware issue. Now, if you have a flight controller that has a gyro connected with like a ribbon cable, you could have a bad cable, but you don't have that. So if you get no gyro, the thing is the SuxX F7 has two gyros. So if either one of them was working, you shouldn't see no gyro. That's pretty weird. But the bottom line is if you power up and you get the no gyro warning, and then sometimes you power up and it works and sometimes it doesn't, that's bad hardware. Why is it happening with two separate quads? Don't know about that. Do you have two bad flight controllers? A Day at the Range, thanks for $5. Small FPV, thanks for $10. Saw the Sharkbite video earlier. You mentioned the TinyWhoop board. I was wondering, will they be coming out with a nano cam for that board? I mean, that certainly makes sense, small FPV. The nice thing about the Sharkbite is it can be used with many, many different kinds of cameras. They just have to have that interface, that MIPI interface on it. So presumably they'll have a, but they already have a, that's already a 14 millimeter camera, actually. Hang on. The Runcam Racer 4 Nano that comes with the Sharkbite is a nano cam already. So there you go. David Lee, thank you for $10 in the super chat. Does Terrence Howard fly quads? I don't know about that. I'm not sure if he flies or just is interested in this sacred geometry quadcopter secrets of the universe stuff. I Googled whether he flies, but I couldn't find anything. Any other random celebs in this hobby? I mean, Terrence Howard is the biggest celeb I know, who, when he came out to the protest, people were like, somebody said to me, Capper is coming, and he's got Terrence Howard with him. And I'm like, the what? The who? The what? Yeah, apparently Chad Capper and Terrence Howard are into drones. I was like, okay. I don't know if he actually flies or not. Josh Phelps, thank you for a $2 super chat. According to Terrence Howard, this is actually $4. Yeah, Terrence has some interesting ideas about math. Yeah, Terrence thinks everybody else is wrong about math, and he's figured something out that nobody else knows. I don't know about that, but I am very interested in his flight controller ideas and making a new kind of drone that flies in new and interesting ways. Aber the Ham, thank you for a $2 super chat. Question in Discord about touchy Dom V2 HDMI jack. All right, Aber. Who is this Terrence? You don't know who Terrence Howard is? Wow. Post your favorite Terrence Howard movie in the chat. Is it a movie, or can we choose HBO as well? Let's keep it to movies. Aber the Ham says the HDMI jack on my Dom V2s is flaky. It works, but only if the cable's in a specific position. It's definitely the Goggles micro HDMI jack. Aber the Ham, the HDMI jack on the Dominator is on a daughter board that's connected with a ribbon cable. If you reach out to Fat Shark support at fatshark.com, just email them. A guy named Randy will answer you. He's usually the one who answers. And they will probably, I mean, like, I'm not trying to make you any promises, but they will probably just be like, okay, and mail you a new board. And you can, if you feel comfortable doing it, you can open the goggles, no soldering required, replace the board, and you'll be good to go. Now, if you want to send the goggles to them and they'll fix them for you, that's what Fat Shark's warranty support is for. And I was talking earlier, I don't know, I got off on a tangent, I guess. I was talking earlier about these Sky Zone goggles and saying, dollar for dollar, these Sky Zones are an amazing value, better than the Fat Shark HDO2. But the place where Fat Shark really shines is contact Sky Zone and ask for warranty support. They will give it to you. They support their goggles. I'm not saying they don't. There are manufacturers out there who just sell you products and then like leave you high and dry. Sky Zone, to their credit, they will send you replacement parts for their goggles if they break, or if you want, they will service them for you. But people tell me, I haven't had to do a warranty repair, but Sky Zones, you got to mail them all the way back to China. So they're like gone for 2 months. And Fat Shark has warranty repair centers in the United States, Asia, Europe, and Australia. And the ability to just send them off and get them fixed or get yourself taken care of is definitely a big deal. Favorite Terrence Howard movie? Hustle and Flow. I would pick Hustle and Flow. Hustle and Flow is a pretty good movie. Empire is a show. Obviously, Empire pretty popular. He was in Iron Man. I know that. He had a little bit of a falling out after Iron Man. You'll notice he was in Iron Man 1 and he wasn't in Iron Man 2. So if you ever meet him, they're like, "Hey, listen, that didn't go well." Oh. He's like, I really loved you in Iron Man. Ooh, maybe not that one. Mike Bergman, thanks for $10 in the super chat. Any chance that the chat might have a spare moon goat frame to sell me? The website stock was wrong when I ordered, and I got that dreaded email saying my order couldn't be filled. I don't know about that, Mike Bergman. If anybody wants to sell Mike Bergman a moon goat frame, that's Corey. That's Cricket's new frame. I guess reach out to Mike Bergman. Ricky Church, thanks for a $5 super chat. Is the Radiomaster TX16S Max worth the extra? Would you buy it? Let's look up Radiomaster TX16S Max. How much is the TX16S Max? Now, FPV Crate has it. Interesting. $250 for the Max edition. Now, what do you get with the Max? Oh, mine is back on the table. I'm not going to get up and go get it in the middle of a live stream, but the Max has these anodized metal pieces. I think it's aluminum. Has these anodized metal pieces, so you get fancy color. Now, I put colored switch nuts on my regular Radiomaster, but they've got all the buttons. The buttons are not plastic. They're metal, and they're anodized. It has an upgraded speaker. It has... I'm going to guess this is faux leather. I'm going to guess it's not actual leather, but I don't know that for sure. It has leather, quote-unquote, leather side plates. Feel real nice in your hand. Let's see. Better sliders with good. I don't know about any of that, but it's $250 compared to how much is a regular one? It's like $160. That's a pretty big ask. Like, let's look on Newbie Drone. TX16S Hall gimbals. Is that right? Is the Hall gimbal one $140? I thought it was $160. Has it come down? Yikes. That's a big ask. I mean, it's gorgeous. It feels really nice. It feels really well built. It feels really solid. The speaker is way louder. I mean, I was very happy with my TX16 though. Oh, it has an upgraded IPS screen. Scarecrow's here. Scarecrow FPV is here. That's James Pellegrini who took those photos. Those beautiful photos I was showing you earlier. That's a tough one. The problem is the TX16 is very good at a price of now $140. So you're asking over $100 to go for the Max. I think you got to really want it. I mean, the thing is, there were days when you would spend $250 on a radio half this good, but the price has come way down. I think you'd have to really want, like, the TX16 is so good, but it's got, like, the plastic is not quite as sturdy. The gimbals, it's just like, this is a definitely an upgrade, but is it $100 upgrade? I don't know. Like, I'm a cheap bastard. I personally would probably spend $140 on this one and spend my $100 somewhere else, but not everyone in the world is a cheap bastard, so. They are selling the CNC parts separately. Thank you for pointing that out, Toxic FPV. They are selling the CNC parts separately if you want to upgrade. So you can do the work yourself if you feel like it. Aber the Ham. I have made that suggestion. Aber the Ham is asking how can I get an FPV feed on this screen? I've made that suggestion to them. Like, wouldn't it be great if you just could flip a switch and have a receiver here? Just so even not for flying off of, I think that would be silly, but just to like check your signal or something. Like, you've got a giant screen. Could we please just stick a receiver on it? Anyway, it hasn't happened yet. I'm gonna stick this frickin' straw right up my nose. Aber the Ham, if you figure out an aftermarket mod that lets you get an analog feed on that screen, Like it seems like it can't be that hard. That screen, it's just an off-the-shelf part. Surely there is some kind of a freaking, is it a digital feed? Does it have like an input somewhere? Somebody look up what freaking part that screen is and how you could feed an analog signal into it. Surely it's possible. Kyle K, what hardware would be required to make the screen show video? It just depends on like what kind of interface and driver circuit that screen has. But it can't be that hard, right? Surely you just look up the part. If you figure it out, I would be very interested. We need a day at the range. This is your next new project. Here's the screen. Oh, yeah. Here's the replacement screen right here. Radio Master replacement LCD and touchscreen. Yeah, but what part is it? Because Radio Master didn't invent this. This is most likely an off-the-shelf part. So what we would need to do is identify, well, it doesn't tell us anything. We would need to identify this part and find it somewhere like on DigiKey or Mauser or something and figure out what the interface is and then how to get some kind of an analog feed into it. I don't know. How hard could it be? Well, maybe harder than you think. Cut back, you're right. If it has two inputs, what you'd need to do is switch. You could put a switch on the outside. My idea was just put a switch on the outside. And when you flip the switch, it switches over to analog. Guillermo says that screen needs a driver to run video. Right, but the driver has to exist, right? Like the screen is being driven digitally now, I would think. It's being driven digitally, so you would need some kind of a analog to digital driver. Yeah. A day at the range, thank you for a $10 super chat. I'm working on a project putting a Vista on a rock 50 motors and antenna tracking. The range should be fine. Do you think the speed of takeoff will mess it up? Any ideas? I don't know what the G rating of a Vista is. How many Gs is it going to pull? That's going to be the question. But I don't know what the G rating of a Vista is. Matthew Roach, thanks for a $5 super chat. What are your favorite antennas right now for the quad and goggles? Antennas, Luminaire Axie is a good one. Solid. Obviously, TBS Triumph Mini, Triumph Pro are solid. I like a omnidirectional low gain antenna for the quad. I like it to be as low gain as possible so that as the quad rotates, we don't get any nulls. And then on the goggles, I've been running the LZR Mini on my HDO2s. The LZR Mini is a high gain antenna, so you need to be facing the quad. If you fly behind yourself, you get much reduced range. It's still some range. And it's been working out okay. I'm not sure I would recommend 2 patch antennas for general use. But a lot of times, like if you race, you're always standing off to the side. You're never flying behind yourself on the flight line. And even if you fly freestyle or bandos, oftentimes there's a flight line and you're flying in front of yourself. So those LZR minis are really good in that case because you're not wasting coverage behind you. Luminaire Axie Duo. I like that one. It's a little big, but it has a wide, flatter beam. So don't drop your head, but it's got a little more gain. And then this is the Vaz Ion V2, which I think is a very, very good goggle antenna. Those are some that I like right now. Aha, Psych Limbo found it. He found the screen. How could that not match any documents? Is this the exact screen? Huh. It doesn't have a driver, though, does it? It doesn't have, like, an analog input. It's entirely digital. So we still would need something with an analog converter circuit. Yeah, that could be a kicker right there. It could be a problem. Thank you, Whit Voss, for $5 Canadian. Ghost Branch FPV says there's a YouTuber named Strange Parts. If you contacted him, I bet he would build that mod for you. He develops his own PCBs. He even built his own iPhone. Yeah, I would love to see that happen. I mean, Radio Master should just do it. That's the thing. Radio Master could just do it. Thank you, Liam Brognard, for your kind words. T. Simon, are you being ignored? I don't think so. I haven't seen your comment for a little while, T. Simon. But you're not being ignored. T. Simon is looking for... Nah, I'm not going to answer that one. No, I'm messing with you. T. Simon's looking for a high-quality bind-and-fly racing drone, not freestyle, with DJI compatibility. I found the review of the Massive Droner. Looks interesting. Any other recommendations? Well, the Massive Droner is 3-inch. It's 3-inch with Vista. It flies good, but it is a 3-inch. And if you're serious about racing, 5 inches is where everybody's at. A racing drone with DJI compatibility doesn't Catalyst Machine Works has the America HD, don't they? There's the Mofo. That's not an HD, though. Massive Droner HD. Where's the America HD? Surely. Oh, come on. Is it ready? You're looking for a bind and fly? Well, they'll build you one. They'll build you one. Just ask them and they'll build you one. Where's the America HD? I'm such a fan of the America, and I'm glad they brought it back. Come on. Did they get rid of it? There you go. So, Caddx Vista America HD, RunCam Mini. There we go. So basically, so they don't have this listed as a bind and fly, but they will build any of their products. You just have to contact them and say how much to build this for me, and they'll give you a price. But this looks to me like I feel like this is one of my favorite Vista capable racing drones. The America has always really impressed me, the way it's designed, with all the electronics are up in the canopy, so that you can actually the ESC is down here, the flight controller and everything else is up here. You can actually swap out this canopy just by unplugging the ESC, so you could have multiple base plates if you wanted. But even if you didn't decide to do that, the geometry is really nice. It's really flat, it's really neutral, and just a really nice build, and they would definitely build that for you. So that's where I would steer you. Abraham, I'm with you. Like I said to him, I said to him, they were like, what they to Radio Master's credit, they reached out to me and they were like, so how do you like the radio? I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. They were like, what could we do to make it better? I was like, that is so refreshing that you ask. Because a lot of times people send me a product and then they're like, so when's the review coming out? But Radio Master was like, what could we... And I was like, put an analog receiver in it. I mean, you got a great big screen. Why can't... I mean, I wouldn't fly off it, but I would love to just be able to... People sticking a freaking little tiny watch on the front of their... Why not? You got a big screen. Just make it happen. How hard could it be? So, I don't know. There's got to be a reason why they haven't done it, but I agree that it would be a big value add, Abraham. Cyclimbo says he found the exact screen. This is a TFT. Didn't they say that their new one was an IPS? I don't know if this is the exact one. Touch panel, ZIF connector. Yeah. So you still need the driver, though. You need an analog driver is the problem. And you would need a switch or something. Anyway, enough about that. Devin Polson, thank you for a $5 super chat. Can you run the Crossfire TX Lite on the DJI remote? No, the DJI remote doesn't take any external modules. If you want to run Crossfire, you need to get a radio like the Radio Master, the Jumper, etc. What's a good pair of beginner Fat Shark goggles, but also has 2 screens? USS Ranger asks in the YouTube chat. A good pair of goggles with 2 screens. I mean, I think the cheapest I could recommend you go is the SkyZone Sky O2C for about $300. I don't think I can't think of a set of like Fat Shark style 2-screen goggles that's cheaper than that I would feel comfortable recommending. Two Board says, be careful having Catalyst build you one. They like to use older parts if you're new and don't know what you're doing. I mean, I don't know what parts they put on your quad, so I couldn't say for sure. But, I mean, they're going to give you the parts that they use on their builds. I do know that they're not constant. I mean, they push their quads really hard. And so sometimes you'll find they're using an older ESC or an older flight controller, but they're sticking with what they know works, as opposed to sort of chasing the latest and greatest. If they sold you an F3 flight controller, like, okay, I'm not going to defend that. But if they gave you, like, maybe an older Diatone flight controller, and you're like, yeah, but Diatone has a new F7, and, yeah, they probably... They build good quads, though. They build good quads. There's no question. Do you think Sharkbite would be good on the SkyZone Sky O2C? What's the resolution of the Sky? The Sharkbite is only 720. So, what's the resolution on the Sky O2C? .854 by 480. That's not great. That's not great. I would want at least 720, just because there's going to be some conversion and it's going to hurt you. I mean, if you own the SkyZone Sky O2Cs, I probably wouldn't like... I would probably consider it, but it's not going to be ideal. I'm not sure it would be a deal breaker, but it's not ideal. Mike Bergman says, if Catalyst Machineworks would just allow customers to get STL files for their frames, I'd be happy. I mean, they design those parts. I understand the desire to get the STLs, because you're like, why should I pay you for it? Let me just print it myself. At the same time, they put it's not like they're... I mean, I don't know. I look at the STLs, the 3D prints that Catalyst comes up with, and I'm like, wow, you guys put a lot of work into this. Those 3D prints are very complex and obviously went through a lot of iteration to get where they did. So I kind of don't blame them for wanting to keep them to themselves. It's not like they just made some tiny little simple piece and they're like, no, it's ours. Mr. E says, do you think 2307 motors are sufficient for a 7-inch, or should I be looking at 24 or 28? Mr. E, I have flown 7-inch bi-blade on 2207 motors and 2306 motors, and I didn't have any big complaints. So the question is just how far you want to push it. People who are serious about 7-inch say that the 24 and the 28, say that the 20, like a 2306 or 2407 is too small. So I would have to tell you that probably you should be looking at like 24 and 28 sized motors, especially for medium to long range, where those larger motors are going to help with the efficiency. Yeah, 2806.5, Crunked and ZFPV both say. Here's what I don't understand, though, and you guys can straighten me out if you want. The advantage of the larger stator is that you have basically more torque. But if you are not making rapid changes to the prop RPM, then do you need the torque? Right? If all you're going to do is just be cruising slowly, why do you need massive motors? It just seems like it's just adding weight. But that's what everyone says. Everyone says, no, you want the torque for 7-inch. Danny Bessinger says, Emax Eco 2 are 2807 motors and are super cheap. Prop wash needs good torque response. You're totally right, ZFPV. If you're building a 7-inch freestyle quad, you absolutely need big motors. But when you're cruising and you're just kind of cruising slowly, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, everybody says for 7-inch you really want 24 or 28, like a 2806.5 or a 2407, etc. So I should probably just listen to people who are smarter than me. Blue Cheese wants to know if the t-shirts sold on my website are shipped from the EU. The website where my t-shirts are is Teespring. Teespring, it's not like my website. They're just a service. They just print shirts on demand. I have a Teespring site, and they are shipped from the EU. Teespring ships from both the EU and the United States. So if you're located in the EU, you can purchase in euros and ship from within the US. What do the numbers mean on motors? Asks iPanda FPV. The width, the diameter, and the height of the stator. Not the bell, but the stator inside that's wrapped in the windings. So 2208 motor is 22 millimeters in diameter, 8 millimeters in height. MJ says, how bad is FPV on a mobile phone? It's bad. The latency is way too high to do anything serious. Catherine, thank you for a $5 super chat. How can you switch between PID profiles while flying? What about rate profiles? Catherine, you can switch rate profiles while flying using in-flight adjustments. I have a video about how to use the 6 position. I have a video about how to use the 6 position switch. Wait a minute. Is this me? Is this my video? December 2019? No, that's it. Wow. Who knew? December. I'm surprised it was that long ago. Catherine, here is a video for you. Oh, Catherine with a K. So that's going to show you how to change rate profiles in flight. You don't have to use a 6 position switch, but PID profiles you can't switch while flying. You can't do it. You have to use stick commands and switch while you're disarmed. Is the Sedora SL5E good for beginners? Asks Ohieng Amuk. Yeah, it is. It's a good, I think it's a really good value at $200. It's hard to beat. Lars Smith, thank you for a $5 super chat. How to troubleshoot Flywheel Explorer that falls from the sky every flight. Well, if it's falling from the sky, since you have DJI, you don't have warnings to tell you why it fell out of the sky. Is there a beep? Does it make any beeps when it falls? Because when it disarms, it'll make some kind of a beep code. And that's what I would want to know next. Chris Cameo, thank you for a $5 super chat. Is there a way to put a Crossfire receiver into bind mode without pushing the button? Chris, the Crossfire receiver will go into bind mode when it first powers up, and it will look for its bound module to see if it needs to do like a firmware update. But if you actually need to bind it, can you do it? You can't do it from TBS Agent X. I don't think so. If you actually need to push the button, I'm not sure. I mean, TBS may have some secret way to do it, but I don't know what it is. Big Data Pimp, thank you for a $2 super chat. What kind of stuff will I need to do to tune my 10-inch? I don't have a ton of experience. I don't have any experience tuning a 10-inch, so I'm probably not the guy to ask. But I'll tell you what you can do. Check this out. Oh, I got something for you guys. You guys are going to love this. Check this out. UAV Tech has a new website, theuavtech.com. And among other things, he has a set of presets to get you in the ballpark. Should really give this super chat to him. And he has a preset for a 9-inch, 10-inch freestyle cruiser. So I guess I would say this, Big Data Pimp. Do these things. And Big Data Pimp, I'm going to link you to this page. But he's saying that basically you're going to tune the PIDs more or less the same as the 6-inch. So there you go. Yeah, Boyd, thank you for a $2 super chat. Prop wash from wind while cruising Mountains Ridge. Prop wash, raise D-gain. That's the short answer. Let's see here. Ooh, analog video decoder for 20 bucks. People are figuring it out. Nathan T in the Discord says, how do I know if I need to adjust RPM filters or PID profiles? I don't have a basis for a good configuration or a bad one. I'm not sure what to expect from a tune. Nathan, I would suggest you check out... this video, Betaflight 4.2 in-depth PID tune on 6S. The reason I say that is that... Stop. The reason I say that is that basically all of my tunes start with the steps in this video. And then I do a few more things. But get the filters right and get a few other basic things set, and your quad will already be flying way, way better. Ethan Mitchell, thank you for a $5 super chat. Could the DJI Air unit record gyro data from the flight controller for post-stabilization software? Ethan, there are a couple people out there working on projects like this. They're trying to stabilize analog DVR, not DJI as far as I know, but the big problem is syncing up the data. When the GoPro records gyro data, it's perfectly synced. But if you take a black box and then some video, getting it synced up to the point where the stabilization can work effectively is very, very difficult. So people are working on it, but it's difficult to get it to work well. Let's see here. If you're just turning up to the live stream, I want to remind you that tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, will be the beginning of my new news segment, which I'm breaking out into its own segment, FPV News, co-hosted with It's Blunty, and we will be talking about things happening in FPV news. It will be a live stream. You guys can tune in. It'll be tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be talking about Tracer. We'll be talking about Sharkbite. A couple other things that are on the table. and I hope you guys will come out. Campbell Gray says, what's the best way to tune out low throttle oscillation after a dive? RPM filtering is enabled and sliders at the lowest setting. Flies great apart from that. Campbell Gray, to get rid of prop wash oscillation, the first thing to do is what you said, which is move the sliders all the way to the right, if you can do that without getting hot motors. And RPM filtering, of course, is very, very desirable. What next? The next thing to do is to maybe consider raising D-gain some, or you can try to get even less filtering. So you've moved the filter sliders all the way to the right. You can actually start turning off the gyro filters too. You don't want to turn off the D-term filters because then you really will get flyaways. But on some quads, let me plug in this flight controller here. Where's the USB? I just have a random flight controller stack that I keep on my desk so I can start beta flight when I need to. So Siati is doing some kiss hate in the chat. Siati, I'm going to have to time you out for hating Kiss. Filter settings. Okay, so the first thing you do is you work your filter slide. First thing you do is you turn on RPM filtering. Okay, that's done. Let's say it's not, but let's assume that it is. Then you're going to work your filter sliders all the way to the right. And if you still don't have hot motors or any of those problems, the next thing you can do, there are two things you can do. One is you could theoretically continue to tweak these values. Notice that as I change these filters, these values change. Well, they're changing, along a curve, and you could extrapolate that curve to get essentially a position of 2.5 or 3.0 on the slider. The other thing you could do is you could just start turning filters off. Right? Turn off your gyro filter. And some people even go so far as to turn the second gyro filter off. Do not do this unless you are running RPM filtering. And even then, many quadcopters will fly to the moon or smoke their motors. But some people have quadcopters that they can get away with this. And this continues to remove latency, which will improve prop wash handling. But at this point, you are very much in the diminishing returns territory. I mean, the latency for the filters goes from, let's say, 6 milliseconds to 4 milliseconds, and that's a big improvement. It's 25% improvement. And it goes from 4 milliseconds to 3 milliseconds, and 3 milliseconds to 2.5 milliseconds. And it's like, okay, at a certain point, that extra half a millisecond isn't really helping you that much. But you could turn off these low passes. The other thing you could do is you could go to the PID profile and you could start raising the D gain by turning up the PD balance. And as you raise the D gain, your prop wash handling is going to get better to a point. But here's the thing. The number one way to fix prop wash oscillation is to not cause it in the first place. Fly out of it. Don't do the things that bring out prop wash oscillation. The only people who really need to perfectly tune their quads are racers. Whoa, sit on that for a minute while I pour myself the next drink. Freestyle pilots don't need to tune their quads. Pixel Pusher says don't raise D, it's already too high. I mean, there's a point where raising D further will make things worse. But in general, my experience is that once you get the filters optimized, raising D gives you better prop wash handling until it starts to cause problems like smoking your motors. Okay, here's why I say that. Freestyle pilots don't need to tune their quads. Well, there goes Bardwell again. Remember that time when Bardwell said a heavier quad flies faster? Oh, here he goes again. Freestyle pilots don't need to tune their quads. Okay. Now that the haters have clipped the GIF and are going to go off and make fun of me, here's what I really mean. Give a good freestyle pilot a quad that is tuned like shit, and he or she will fly around the deficits in the tune. They will just not do the things that make the quad fly like shit. You give a great musician, the musician Jack White from the White Stripes. Jack White loves buying the crappiest dime store guitars and using them to make amazing music. Because and my read on it, I mean, like, I'm not an expert on his philosophy, but my read on it is that he likes to be challenged by his musical instrument to become a better musician. And a great freestyle pilot, you give them a crappy tuned quad and they will find a way to fly it well. But a racer, now obviously it's better to have a good tuned quad, right? But if your quad is, but a racer has no discretion in how or where the racer flies. The racing pilot must go through the gates in a certain order, and there is one best line through those gates. And that means that if you want to go through this turn, you need to go this fast, cut 180 turn, and go back the other direction. You don't have the option to, like, go easy on the throttle when you're racing. If you go through that turn, and your quad prop wash oscillates, and you lose a fraction of a second, you have to fix the tune. You have to fix it. But a freestyle pilot, you got a bad tune, So it's really racers who need the best tune. A racer must get that last nth of a degree of prop wash oscillation out of there. A freestyle pilot has flexibility. Ooh. Now, freestyle pilots push for a good tune. Don't get me wrong. Freestyle pilots push for a good tune. A lot of them do. They want the best flying quad because they want to know that the quad is not holding them back. They don't want to have to work around the quad. They want to have the perfect freedom to express their beautiful freestyle goodness. Yeah, there's truth to that as well. So you got a pilot like Steele, who flies the exact same quad and has the perfect PID tune for that quad that he has refined over the course of literally years of flying. That's one way to go about it. ZFPV says freestyle requires more tuning than racing. Freestyle pilots are looking for different things than racers, I think. There definitely are racers who don't tune their quads and they just try to get fast. But the difference is that with racers, when you get a little bit of prop wash oscillation, you lose time, and that is objectively worse. That's my opinion. So, going back to the question of how do I got prop wash oscillation, what should I do with my tune? If you're a freestyle pilot, stop flying into your own prop wash. Pitch forward a little bit and push out of it. Maybe you, like, there's people in the chat saying, yeah, I know a lot of racers who don't tune. I feel like the racers at the very highest levels start to get more concerned with tuning, because when you're at the lower levels of racing, your skill on the sticks is what holds you back. But eventually, as you become higher and higher skill level at racing, you reach a point where your tune is holding you back. Anyway. Good, yeah, UAV Tech, I'm with you, man. Move the filter slider, move the PD slider, it's easy. That's how you get most of a good tune. Danny Bessinger, thank you for a $5 super chat. Most symphony violinists play super expensive instruments. Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely. Ryan Eichmeyer, thank you for a $2 super chat. If you didn't already have DJI, would you buy Sharkbite? Hold on, I'm getting a message from Red Cat. I will sell all of my DJI quads and buy Sharkbite quads. Sharkbite is the best. Sharkbite is now, once again, better than DJI. Buy Sharkbite. DJI is dead to me. Brian, if DJI didn't exist, then I would be thinking hard about going to Sharkbite because I feel like Sharkbite is better than analog. If I was a typical person who couldn't spend $160 on an Air unit or a Vista, or $500 or $600 on goggles, I would stick with analog. I think Sharkbite is in a weird situation. It is better than analog, just based on my, I've only had a working Sharkbite quad for a few weeks now, but I think that it's better than analog, and it will only get better as time goes on. So, but the problem is that it is so expensive that it's not that much of a jump to go DJI, and DJI is way better in terms of image quality and I think range. So the big question is, if you have the money to get Sharkbite, why aren't you getting DJI? And the answer is out there. Some people feel very strongly about the HDMI output. Some people already have analog goggles that they love and don't want to give up. And they're like, Sharkbite works for me. But speaking for myself, I feel like once you fly DJI, it's hard to switch away from it. Marley Lepo, thank you for 20 Norwegian kroner. What's up? Mr. Dragon, thank you for $5. GoPro has a sale on the GoPro 9 for $350. Out of the 8 or 9, which lens is more easily protected or replaced when broken? It's got to be the 9, right? The 9 has a replaceable lens. The 8 does not. So there you go. Marshy Mello, thanks for $5 super chat. Any advice for gimbals on heavy lifters? No. Marshy, I don't do heavy lift, and I don't do big gimbals on cameras. You should reach out to FreeFly. Daniel Riley at FreeFly Systems. Maybe he would help you, or somebody. I don't know. Excuse me. Golden FPV, thank you for a $2 super chat. DJI controller, QAVR, NewbieDrone, good company. NewbieDrone is a good company. Personally, I don't fly with the DJI controller because I like OpenTX. I like the power of OpenTX, and I like Crossfire. But the DJI controller is a good controller, and it's very simple to set up if you're starting. If you're not really familiar, OpenTX can be really overwhelming. Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you for €5. I'm gonna pass on trying to pronounce your name though, because I know I won't get it right. I think this is a Polish name, and I'm no good with those. If it's not Polish and I've offended you, I apologize. I'm designing a flight controller and using connectors for receiver, VTX, etc. Why don't more commercial flight controllers use connectors? Am I missing something aside from customization? So most flight controllers use direct soldering today, and the reason for that is that when you use connectors, you have to make certain assumptions about what's going to get plugged in. Whereas with direct soldering, people can just solder it up however they want. It is super annoying to have to repin a connector, right? So if you know, I'm going to use this camera, this flight controller, whatever, then you can put a connector on the board. But the more connectors you have, the more limited your user is in what they can do. So most flight controllers, like you put a connector for a receiver, I would rather solder my receiver direct to the flight controller than solder splice a bunch of wires so I could use a plug. It's not that hard to solder. However, when there is a standard, then a plug totally makes sense. So you see a lot of flight controllers now with a plug for the DJI Air unit, because the Air unit has the same plug every time. When you have a 4-in-1 ESC, there'll be a plug connecting it to the flight controller, because the flight controller and the ESC go together. Nathan T, very interesting question. Feel free to skip the philosophical topic. No, I like your philosophical topic. In your recent video about the Flywoo Explorer LR, you talk about how it restores the joy of the novelty of flight by taking out the distracting things that typically stress us out. Would you make the same assertion for a consumer-grade drone like a DJI Mavic? Nathan, I personally don't get a lot of joy out of flying a Mavic. Because it's too easy. It doesn't feel like you're flying it. It just feels like you're steering it. So I know that I know that not everybody feels that way. There are people who just enjoy flying their Mavic. And that's cool. But I don't get that feeling. You're right that flying a Mavic takes out all the things that stress you out. It'll return home. You basically can't lose it. I feel like when I started flying these 4-inch quadcopters, the long flight time, having Crossfire as my control link, so I didn't think too much about failsafe, and DJI has pretty good video range. And knowing I had GPS rescue to back me up, I didn't worry too much. And so I could just get out there and cruise along the ridge and go wherever. And I just don't get that. There's this balance between I'm enjoying what I'm doing and I'm not stressed out. But it's like with a Mavic, you're just kind of like in a cocoon. And it's like, well, I'm not stressed out, but I'm also not having any fun. So to me, these little 4 inches are a nice balance. So to me, a Mavic is a tool. It's a tool for getting a shot, period. There is nothing fun or exciting about flying a Mavic, to me. You just put it up there. It does its thing. You get your shot. You land it. You say, thank you, Mavic. And then you just use your footage. When will you review the Gep RC Crocodile Baby ALFPV? The Crocodile Baby review is uploaded. It's sitting on YouTube right now, but I needed to make a thumbnail, and I got super busy. The problem is that with frickin' daylight saving, now we're on standard time, and it's getting dark at like 4:30, 5 p.m. So instead of, normally I will get up, have breakfast, start getting, play with my kid, then answer all my emails and messages, and then work on a video, post a video, and then it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I'll go out and fly and make another video or something. But today, now that we're in wintertime, like by the time if I want to fly, I got to push some of that off. So I haven't posted that, but it will go up. It was supposed to go up today. It will go up as soon as I make a thumbnail for it. Probably tomorrow. It's probably tomorrow though. T. Simon says the view in DJI goggles is so big that I struggle to see information in the corners of the screen. You can shrink down the screen, not the DJI elements, but you can take the actual picture from the camera and shrink it down. And I do that I use 90%. Heads not, I got an answer for you, buddy. Heads not, I know, I love it when someone asks a question and I know exactly what the answer is. Beta FPV X Night is having VTX issues when the quad is right next to the goggles. Picture is fine. 1 foot away, nothing but static. It's because they shipped that thing with the VTX in pit mode. You have to, I think you double click the button and it takes it out of pit mode. And that'll totally fix it, Heads not. I think it's after power up, double click the button. I can't remember. I think it's a double click. But it's in pit mode. It's in the manual. Tells you how to take it out of pit mode. I had the same problem, and I was sure that the video transmitter on my X-Night was broken. And I was like, frickin' Beta FPV sent me a broken video transmitter. I'm going to rip this quad. And I was like, maybe it's in pit mode. And the thing is, if you go into Beta Flight video transmitter tab, it says it's not in pit mode, but it totally is. It's not until you push the button that it actually comes out of pit mode. And as soon as I did that, I was like, oh, okay, it's fine. So. Big Data Pimp wants to know, why does the USPS suck so bad? Yeah, good question. I think you should do some digging. You should do some digging into that, because there is an answer. But the answer is political, and we're not going to do politics in this stream. Stop it, Fatty FPV. Nope, 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 nope. I shouldn't have read that question. We're not going there. What is the Ghost Proton Pack, Daniel E. Markle? The Ghost Proton Pack is just a board you can solder ghosts to. Night Train, the USPS is privately funded. The USPS funds itself. It does not receive your tax dollars. That is a fact. That is not a political statement. That is a statement of fact. Close the box. Close the box. Put the stuff back in the box. Oh, I'm going to be the next Joe Rogan. Do you recommend having the link quality warning turned on when using Crossfire? Yeah, for sure. Don't worry too much about RSSI, but definitely have LQ on. The USPS was also profitable. It was in the black until something happened. I can't resist. I'm so angry when people say the USPS is in the red. It's only in the red because it has to fund its own pension for 50 freaking years. Anyway, put it back in the box. Why is it harder to pin tune? I have to take any question just to get off the topic. I can do it, but I'm not going to, because then you'll start doing it. I'm allowed to push the bounds just a little because it's my live stream. But if y'all go crazy, I'm gonna just start banning I'm gonna just start timing out every single one of you. That's my perspective as the host. Rocky asks, what do you use to repair a broken GoPro file? You put the SD card back in the GoPro, and either it fixes it or it doesn't. And if it doesn't fix it, you're boned. That's my opinion. Any help fixing a Crossfire receiver that's stuck in bootloader mode? Use the emergency recovery method. Google Crossfire emergency recovery. Rocky wants to know what slow mode is. Slow mode means you can't spam the chat. Here's the thing, you guys, there are other recovery programs that recover video files, but in my experience, if the GoPro itself can't, the GoPro knows the exact format of the file. So if the GoPro can't recover the file, then nothing else is going to do it. Now, if you guys go in the chat and say, no, that's not true. There are some files that the GoPro can't recover, but if you do X, Y, and Z, then they come back. Then I'll go, okay, I guess I was wrong. But my thinking is if the GoPro can't recover the file, it's probably just freaking done. Best frame or ready to fly 5-inch for the Runcam split Tarsier style camera? I mean, you're not going to want a super slammed frame. But other than that, I mean, take your pick. Best 5-inch frame. I've got some up on my website, fpvknowitall.com. You could check that out. If you're looking for parts, this is not a store, by the way. I don't like doing customer service and fulfillment. But I have the ultimate FPV shopping list up at my site, fpvknowitall.com, and it has all my product recommendations for all my parts, for all different, including a section on quadcopter frames and some suggested freestyle frames that you could consider. These aren't the only good frames out there, but there are some good frames that you could look into. Thoughts on the 533 switchback? Why, my goodness, it's right here on my website. I mean, when I see racing frames, I'm just like, how do you get all your parts in that tiny little frame? But racers don't seem to mind. Heads Not, thank you for a $5 super chat. I solved his problem about the Beta FPV video transmitter. Thank you, Heads Not. Are gummy standoffs bad? Jonathan King. Jonathan, those rubber standoffs used to be the best way to vibration isolate your flight controller. These days, flight controllers all have the little rubber gummy grommets, and I prefer those. But those rubber standoffs, if you have a flight controller that doesn't have gummies, those rubber standoffs are a great way to vibration isolate. Ryan Eichmeyer, thank you for a $5 super chat. You already have your own motors, flight controller, and camera. Any plans to design an entire freestyle signature quad? I have no plans to design a frame. I look at frames like on the last live stream, I was just looking at the new Moon Goat frame from Oh My God. Look at this thing. Have you seen this? I was looking at this frame and just thinking about all of the design decisions that went into making the frame, and I was just like, forget it. I can't do that. I can't make a frame that's better than this. So I just will never. And I have talked to people in the past. People have said, hey, you want to do a frame? And I've been like, well, you know, I have some ideas what I might like in a frame. And then I look at the designs. They give me some preliminary sketches or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And then I look at this, and I'm like, this is a pretty cool freaking frame. I look at a frame like the FPV Cycle Glide. This is another one of my favorite. Bob, can I have a? Thank you, Bob. Give me a freaking assembled picture of the freaking frame. Oh, there we go. I look at a frame like this and I'm like, how do you know what to take away and what to leave behind? Oh, I don't. You just design the frame. I know. No, I don't see myself designing a frame. That's just beyond me. Flight controller, sure. I got ideas for a flight controller, but nah. Wish the moon goat had tapered arms. I agree. I said that on the live stream yesterday, actually. The one thing about the moon goat that stands out to me is, like, I'm thinking about the apex. The apex has tapered arms, and I feel like that adds a lot of strength. These straight arms, number one, they just don't look as cool. Like slightly tapered arms would look better. Now, the problem is that if you make the arm thinner, you're making it weaker. So are you going to make, if you want tapered arms, do you make it thinner up near the motor, or do you make it thicker down near the base? I don't know. But I do think tapered arms would be nice. Defiant FPV. Flashed the latest firmware, went out to test the quad, took off to the moon. Any advice on what to do? Your motors are spinning the wrong direction. That's my first guess. Check your motor direction. Hey, when I tell you check your motor direction, don't check your motor direction by like, although, I mean, the motors are props out, so they must be props out. Look in the motors tab at the diagram in the upper left. Confirm that Betaflight agrees with you about what direction the motors should be going. Look in the diagram, this right here, because people are like, yeah, well, the motors are spinning correctly, they're props in, and then, oh, whoops, I accidentally clicked the reverse motors, and the motors, Betaflight is thinking they're spinning the other way. So check your motor direction. That's the first thing I would say to do. Ethan Mitchell, thank you for a $5 super chat. Is there a way to set up dual flight controllers for redundancy on large quads with expensive cameras? Yes, but not with Betaflight. Not with Betaflight. That exists in the world. Not with Betaflight, though. A Day at the Range, thanks for a $10 super chat. I did some testing with adding the copper foil to the Skyhammer PCB, and not really better range, but I did seem to keep signal bars longer. Any thoughts? Did a video on it. Again, man, when testing antennas, the proof of the pudding is in the range that you get. I think you should, if you really want to play with the antenna like that, you should reach out to Alex Grieve and talk to him, and he will tell you all. He is a super accessible guy, and he loves talking shop. So reach out to Alex Grieve on Facebook Messenger, and he will talk to you about that antenna, I'm sure. Excuse me for slurping. Shu Leon, thank you for $5.49 Canadian. I hope I was close on your name. People in the Discord talking about the invisible quads for the new Insta360 One X2. I will say, so I have this on the table behind me, but again, I'm not going to get up and get it. So Insta360 sent me the One X2, and because I'm a terrible person, I didn't release a video about it on release day. And they, as a result, probably never send me a camera again. And I guess that's just going to be how it is. I guess my life will go on, like Celine Dion said. My heart, whatever. I have been testing it and playing with it. It is pretty freaking cool. One of the things I really like about it, Insta360 is that they put their whole workflow, you guys can't see a damn thing, I've been zoomed in. They put their whole workflow in the computer. So you can, in the camera, say, I'm about to take a time lapse or whatever, but you're not, most of the time you can just hit record and take your footage into the PC app later or the smartphone app and make decisions about how you want to edit the footage. And that's pretty cool, not having to like pre-choose those kind of things. It's a pretty cool camera. The reason I haven't reviewed it yet is because it is not optimized for quads. Like if you look at the Insta360 1R, the 1R is clearly designed for, it's clearly like perfect for quadcopters. It just looks like a GoPro. And it's swappable, so you can use the 360 mod, etc. But as a 360 cam, it's not ideal because of its thickness. 360 cams they have smaller stitch lines when they're thinner. So the 1X2 is a pretty good 360 cam, but it's not like you're going to put it on a freestyle drone. Yeah. So, what's the weight without the battery? The 1R also has a 1-inch sensor, although the field of view is not so long. Not so good on that one. I don't know the weight without the battery. Not off the top of my head. ZFPV, thanks you for a $5 super chat. I could see somebody making a invisible frame for the Insta360 1X2. However, the thing about that is that the thinner the camera, the thinner the quadcopter has to be. At least for the Insta360 1R, the thickness of the camera is actually a benefit when designing a quadcopter around it, because the stitch line is larger. You can fit the quadcopter into the stitch line easier. But for the Insta360 1X2, it's so freaking thin. Getting a quadcopter to fit within the stitch line would be a real challenge. So this just doesn't, to me, feel like a quadcopter camera first and foremost. But it feels like a really good 360 cam. I'm still... that's cute. I'm still figuring it out, what I want to do with it. Anyway. T. Simon, you're right. 360 camera footage, if you try to zoom in on it at all, you see the resolution suffer a lot. So you need situations where the novelty of the 360 cam is the draw. I thought I got really good results flying the Insta360 1R. I did some shots with the Insta360 1R where I just made like super view, but even more, this really wide field of view. Hang on, I can just show you the footage. It wasn't like fisheyed. I thought it looked really good. No, I don't want the music. Yeah, hang on. It's going to be in this opening segment here. There we go. So this is the Insta360 1R set with a wide field of view and not doing any 360 tricks. Just looking like a really wide angle action cam. I thought it looked really good. Like I thought you could just dial in the field of view just how you want it to be. And in this case, now obviously you guys are watching a live stream of a YouTube video, so it's not good. But in this case, I thought that the resolution was kind of acceptable because you're so far zoomed out. But as soon as you start trying to zoom in, you see that there's just no resolution. Anyway. Siati says, that's the best usage of it I've ever heard. Take a flight FPV. What is the best usage? I want to go back. One-wheel group rides. Yes. What do people do with 360 footage? Yeah, so, Siati, in my opinion, the big advantage of 360 footage is the ability to reframe in post. So, like, I know I've seen some people who use 360 cams for vlogs, and they'll go out and they'll do man-on-the-street stuff, but they're just holding the camera and talking, and they can just swing the camera around to get reaction shots from people if they want to. And the idea, like, there's a guy who does, he lives in New York, And he is a fluent speaker of several different Chinese languages, but he just looks like a white Jewish guy. And his shtick is he goes into like Chinatown and he goes into a restaurant and he's talking English, and then they assume he doesn't speak Chinese, and then like he'll just bust out Chinese, and it's like, oh, then everybody makes faces. And because he's shooting with a 360 cam, if there's like some guy over in the table who like, whoa, is making a reaction face to him, he can just get the shot. And so this to me is really the sweet spot for 360 cams. If they could get the resolution and the lenses really good, then you could start to see video production in scenarios where you are not thinking about framing until you're in post. But I think we're a long way off from that. Ciati says, on a stick, I totally understand. Oh, well, that whole conversation was just wasted. But on a quad is where I get confused. Again, you could certainly look, like Stan FPV gave me a great example. Stan said, let's say that you're flying with wild horses and you only get one chance to get the shot. Well, he says you could do two shots. One shot of the horses to your left and one shot of the horses to your right. And you could intercut them as if you got two shots. That's kind of cool. People talking about the X-Night 360 frame. Yeah, people talking about the Beta FPV X-Night 360 frame. And they're saying, what the F is going on with this frame? Yeah, I had the same thought when I saw this frame. I was like, what are you doing? This is... the exact comment was... I'm not going to put a name on this comment, but... He said, I've never designed a frame, but I feel like given a day, I could make the X-Night 360 better. It does look kind of, let's just say, unrefined. It's like, it looks like these old frames that were just great big carbon fiber plates. Like, what's going on here with this? I understand you. So the advantage of this frame is that it's a carbon fiber. There's no 3D printed parts, but I mean, I guess it gets the job done. Do you have to unscrew it to take the camera out? Oh, why would you not just buy a Cinebird? Why would you not just get a Cinebird? Isn't that better? Just get the Cinebird. This is a 5-inch. Stan has a 5-inch version of the Cinebird too. Is there a viable Tricopter build apart from the Explorer? Asks Sway. No. Tricopters are dead. They're dead. There are no viable Tricopter builds. They're dead. Next. Tricopters were a good idea when ESCs were shitty. Now that ESCs are not shitty, Tricopters are a bad idea. Even David Vindestall has basically given up on Tricopters, which tells you how dead they are. People are like, why are you hating on Tricopters? Oh, there goes Bardwell again. Just something he doesn't like. No, that's just a fact. Tricopters are dead. They're not dead to me. David Vindestall stopped making Tricopter frames and developing Tricopter firmware. He loves Tricopters more than anyone on Earth. If he has finally given them up, that's the final. They're just dead. Servos. It used to be that ESCs were really crappy, and having a servo do your yaw was better than an ESC. But ESCs are way, 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 way better than they used to be, and now servos are really crappy. Don't build Tricopters anymore. I mean, if you want to build a Tricopter because you just love Tricopters, but if you want a Quadcopter, if you want something to fly good, don't build a Tricopter. Word, Jmay. Thank you for $5 Canadian. I impulse ordered the X-Night 360. Haven't even got it yet, but I already have buyer's remorse. Will you review this quad? Hopefully it's decent. I mean, you should review it. You bought it. I don't think I'm going to review it. There are so many products out there that I could review. If my first reaction to a product is, I don't think this is very good, then I'm not going to review. I'm probably not. I generally don't review products if I start out thinking they suck. Now here's how it goes. I think to myself, and I'm not talking about the X-Night anymore. I'm just talking generally. I look at a product and I go, oh, I hate that. Well, now, why would I accept a review of it knowing that I'm just going to talk shit about it and say it's terrible? Like saying, yeah, hey, do you mind if I review your product? Thank you so much for sending it to me. This product is the worst. I mean, I should at least buy it and pay for it if I know beforehand that, like, when I accept a product for free in exchange for a review, I feel like that doesn't obligate me to say good things about it. Definitely not. But there, like, at least has to be like a 50-50 chance. If I know already that I hate it, I shouldn't. But here's the thing. Maybe I should just not review it at all. Because maybe I should just review something else and say, hey, there's this great product out there that you should buy. Now, there is an exception. If there's a product out there that is so popular that everybody is going to buy it, and I think it sucks, I feel like I have an obligation to you to say, hey, I don't think you should buy this. But if there's a product out there that's like, man, maybe some people will buy it, maybe they won't. I'm like, I'm just not gonna say anything. I'm gonna go review. I mean, I can only do so many videos in a week, and I'm gonna spend those videos promoting and boosting products that I think are great, rather than panning products that I think are shitty. I'm not saying that the X-Night is shitty. I'm saying my first reaction to it was, it looks pretty clunky, then I think you should just buy a Cinebird. At that point, I probably was never going to review it, because it wouldn't be ethical for me. If I predetermined that probably I'm just going to say you should buy a Cinebird, then I probably should not review it at all. Anyway. We are coming to the end of the stream. It is 9:58 p.m. The stream will be ending in just a couple minutes, and Aaron Ciotti is going to be streaming at 10 p.m. What are you doing tonight, Ciotti? Ciotti's going to start posting the link. Oh, Nurk just reviewed the X-Night. See, it might be good. Sometimes I see a product and I go, now, let me tell you this. I am also just a hater and a cynic at heart. I hate everything. The first time I see almost anything, I think it's dumb and stupid, and I focus on all the things about it I don't like. That's just how my brain works. I have to really rein that in, because people are like, hey, Mr. Bardwell, my name's Tommy. I'm 12 years old. I just learned to fly. I've been flying for 5 minutes, and I made this freestyle video, and I wondered if you'd look at it. And I look at it, and I go, your quad's flying like shit, Tommy. You need an ND filter on that GoPro. Your color grade's terrible. I think you shot in linear. You need to shoot in super view and work on them snap rolls. And I'm like, no, stop. Stop. You cannot do that to Tommy. That's how my brain works. I'm like, find something positive to say. Well, that's pretty good for 5 minutes in, Tommy. That's really keep flying, dude. But that's how my brain. But sometimes I see a product and I go, this thing sucks. And then, like, Nurk does a review and he's like, oh, it's actually pretty good. And I'm like, maybe I should give it a second chance. So sometimes I'm wrong. 9:59 p.m., 1 minute to the end of the stream. Ciotti, you streaming tonight, man? I see you in the chat, Ciotti. Micro Monday, T-Motor Pacer 2207.5 giveaway. Ciotti knows how to get views. Giveaway, BQE Ripsqueak Micro Build. Ciotti's posting a link to his stream. Oh, good. Nurk had bad reviews, too. Okay, so I was right. If you guys want to keep watching somebody stream, Watch Ciati. He's posting a link to his stream. I will be back with It's Blunty tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, for the very first episode of the FPV News. I actually have been doing FPV News at the beginning of my streams, but this is a new thing with Blunty. We will be there. I hope you will be there. That's going to do it for tonight, though. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Happy flying. See you tomorrow.